الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه وبعد. The director of this high institution, great height, the chairman of the PTA, my elderly brother, her husband, director, the head of schools, head of departments, academic and non-academics, the security personnel, media personnel, my colleagues, the students. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Let me start by giving thanks to Almighty Allah for counting all of us who are here and those who are opportune to be Muslims. That ours is to continue to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for his favor on us of being Muslims. Equally, we must thank him for counting us among those who love to read the Quran. And not only that, to understand the content, the meaning. And beyond that, to implement the content in practice. And of course, with sincerity. I think this is enough to continue to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That makes our lives to be a meaningful one. Because there are those who are living like animals, even though they are human. Because the Quran is not in their life. Allah mentioned the wahi to be ruh, soul. Because the soul needs what it takes to make it survive. Like the body needs food. The body is from the earth. It needs something from the earth like food to consume to make it survive. The same applies to the ruh. It needs the ruh, and the ruh is the Quran itself. So I congratulate those whom Allah has given the administration of this institution, and also the parents who have made their dream to be reality. Teaching the Quran and learning the Quran is one of the greatest acts of worship. In fact, for you to know the position of the Quran, and of course reading the Quran, the first verse that was revealed to Rasulullah ﷺ was centered on reading the Quran. It was not on Tawheed, which is the ideology and concept of oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, monotheism. It was on recitation, because it is only through recitation you can maintain the pattern of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and no more. Any other reading, any other design, any other constitution, any other formalities, long as it's not the Quran, you are going to miss your track. And Rasulullah ﷺ, being the best of mankind, who is the leader of all humanity, the first thing he was commanded to do so as to maintain that position is to recite Iqra. And what is he going to read? The Quran. Iqra, he said, Ma ana biqari, which means it's not a crime when you don't know how to read, but it's the highest level of criminality when you don't want to learn how to read. Because at that point, he himself was not among those who are reading. He said, Ma ana biqari. The angel forced him again, he said, Iqra, for the second time. He said, Ma ana biqari. Iqra. Bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. Khalaq al-insana min alaq. Iqra wa rabbuka al-akram alladhi allama bil qalam allama al-insana ma lam ya'lam. And that is the starting point of the journey of the Quran. And it's all about reading the Quran. That's why Allah says in Baqarah, I'm happy some of the students read from Baqarah fluently and excellently. Alladhina ataynahumul kitaba, that is the Quran, yatlunahu haqqa tilawati, that is the citation. Ulaika yu'minuna bi. In usul al-fiqh, this is a direct statement with meaning. Those who have given the book, الَّذِينَ آتَيْنَاهُمُ الْكِتَابِ يَتْلُونَهُ حَقَّ تِلَاوَتِهِ. They are reciting it to the best of recitation. Allah says, أُولَٰئِكَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِهِ. These are the ones who believe in the Quran. Now the point is here, what of those who are Muslims and are not reading the Quran? Because the ayah is very categorical. We have given them the book, and they are reciting the book, and they are the ones who believe in the book. In usul here, you will say this is mantuk, and mafhum is those who did not read the book, automatically they don't believe in the book. And in fact, the end of the verse is very frightening. الَّذِينَ آتَيْنَاهُمُ الْكِتَابَ يَتْلُونَهُ حَقَّ تِلَاوَتِهِ أُولَٰئِكَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِهِ وَمَنْ يَكْفُرْ بِهِ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْخَاسِرُونَ. And those who refuse, of course, you can go by that meaning, then they are the losers. You can find a wider explanation by saying those who disbelieve in Islam itself in total. All the same, it tells you how important it is for you to recite the book. That's why Rasulullah sallam said, خَيْرُكُمْ مَنْ تَعَلَّمَ الْقُرْآنَ وَعَلَّمَهُ. I'm happy that all Muslims will write this hadith. The best of you in the sight of Allah are those who learn the book and they teach it. And that's why institutions of this nature are doing great. They are doing great. Even if it is only for them to teach the Ummah the Quran, they are doing great. And added to the greatness of theirs is that they put the practice of the Quran in practical, in the environment for the children. And that's why today, most Islamic schools of this nature are safer for the children than their homes. With apology to parents who are here. Very few parents, very few can maintain the level of tarbiyah in their homes like that of the school. And this adds value to our schools. Because things are getting worse in the society. And you see, the society is just a duplicate of who we are. It is we who are the society. If we have an ideal individuals who are reciting the Quran, who understand the Quran, who are implementing the Quran, then that ideal individual will form an ideal family, and that ideal family plus another family is what is called the society. So my submission, and of course the submission of scholars, is that an ummah will continue to be reformed. They will continue to be reformed long as they are reciting the Quran, they are reciting the Quran, they are understanding the meaning of the Quran, and they are implementing the Quran. That's why during the time of Rasulullah sallam, the Sahaba said, "Kunna nata'allam ashara ayatin wa nafqawha wa na'mal biha fata'allamna al-Quran wal iman." We used to learn only 10 verses from Rasulullah sallam until when we understand the meaning, we implement the meaning, then we learn the Quran and the Iman. And that's why their society, their generation is the best of all generations. They are generations of Quran. And you see, to get us relaxed and to be comfortable and to be able to face whosoever as far as the Quran is concerned, Allah has made the book to be the book of challenge, challenging the whole mankind. Not only today, the challenge remained for 1,500 years ago. It is a challenge. In fact, long as the world will live, Quran will remain a book of challenge to mankind. قُلَّ إِذِ اجْتَمَعَتِ الْإِنسُ وَالْجِنُّ أَلَا أَنْ يَأْتُوا بِمِثْلِ هَذَا الْقُرْآنِ لَا يَأْتُونَ بِمِثْلِهِ وَلَوْ كَانَ بَعْضُهُمْ لِبَعْضٍ ظَهِيرًا. If the whole mankind will gather together, the professor and non-professor, the engineers, the farmers, the scientists, everybody should gather in one place, not disputing, putting their resources together, their intellectualism together. They cannot produce the type of the Quran. They cannot produce the similitude of the Quran. In fact, it went as far as they cannot produce 10 chapters of the Quran. In Surah Yunus, And in fact, as far as they cannot produce even one surah in Surah Al-Baqarah, they cannot produce it. Even 3 verses, they cannot produce it. So we should be proud of the Quran. Unfortunately today, among the crises the Ummah is facing in Nigeria and globally is that Muslims did not take the Quran to be the pattern they will follow in all ratification of life. They decided on their own to suspend the Quran in majority of their lives. That's why very, very few today, very, very few, are the ones who are so concerned about how will the Quran be in our life. Because it's a manual. Allah sent it for us to follow. Unfortunately, take for instance our judiciary. And it is high time we start inculcating the whole aspect of Quran in the life of our children. Probably that will be changed at their time. They have no regard for the Quran. It's not a book to be used in our courts. Even if you wish and you say, no, I'm a Muslim, I respect and believe and want to follow the Quran, so judge me by the Quran. No matter how grievous the nature of the punishment is, I am ready to accept it. Nobody will listen to you. And the book is sent as a manual to be followed in our judgments, in our banks, in our markets, in our homes, in our schools, on streets, in our marriages, in our giving birth, in our inheritance, in everything the Quran has a say. It is a book of science, it is a book of history, it's a book of judgment, it's a book of politics, it's a book of salat, it's a book of spiritual, it's a book of everything. Ma farratna fil kitabi min shay. Nothing left untouched in the book by the creator of all creations. It's very unfortunate that as much as we are in this nation, with our numbers, with our influence, with our rituals, with our intellect, with our intellectuals, that area is not seen to be important. أفتؤمنون ببعض الكتاب وتكفرون ببعض فما جزاء من يفعل ذلك منكم إلا خزي في الحياة الدنيا ويوم القيامة يردون إلى أشد العذاب وما الله بغافل عما يعملون. Do you select and live once you want to live? That was the case of the Jews and the Christians. Now, if you do that, Allah says you are going to test the punishment here, as we are testing today. And there is going to be more grievous. And Allah is not unaware of your calculations. So we should take Quran very, very serious. Finally, let me congratulate those who have interest in making sure their children memorize the Quran. On the day of Qiyamah, they are going to be crowned with a crown of gold. Those parents who their children have memorized the Quran, the father and the mother. And it's a sign of they are being taken to paradise straight because of the Quran. And the child, even if parents are given this, the child is much more than that. So we still have avenue of Allah's mercy on us through the Quran. And some chapters are going to intercede, shifa, for their reciters and memorizers and those who have worked with those chapters. And at any time you hear the importance of the Quran, it's not only talking about the reading, but the reading and the implementation. I congratulate those parents, and I congratulate also those who are making the effort. Let me quickly thank all of us who are here, and those who are likely to be here, unfortunately they are not here, and to sincerely apologize that I will leave because today is Jumu'ah. I hardly accept any invitation in the mornings of Jumu'ah. But this one actually is an invitation I cannot reject. I know the reason why I cannot reject it. Thank you very much for listening. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.